So welcome to my review of the TKZK Wave. These are a kind of sub-brand to Tin Hifi, and these are like a brand new release. As you can see, mine is from Hifi, and it is the emerald green version. As you can see, it is still sealed, so I've not opened it yet. So yeah, as usual, full disclaimer is Hifi sent it to me to review. I was not paid to do this video, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. And yeah, before I open it, I'm quite intrigued by this, for Tin Hifi to create another brand, you know, to try and make it separate. This is also supposed to be 2-pin, and it is a hybrid, so let's get into it. So a closer look, like I said, this is the Wave model, TKZK, so obviously all completely brand new firm. Mine is the emerald green. I still haven't opened it yet, so we'll have a good look in a bit. It's very quite wide scaling graph. So it is a hybrid 1BA 1DD. Frequency is 10 Hz to 40 kHz, so quite wide. Sensitivity is 110, impedance is 22 ohms, so it shouldn't be too bad. 3.5mm cable, wire length is 1.2. These are supposed to be a 2-pin. And I think on release, these are meant to be around the $35 mark, I think, from what I've been told. So there's some information. Thank you for choosing TKZK. Basically the same kind of thing in Chinese. Oh wow, look at these. That's pretty funky. Really nice construction, feels like resin. If these are around the $35 points, that's a really nice kind of build. Looks like the BA is in the nozzle. You can just see it slightly off, right? Really nice construction. It's a 2-pin. It's got a thick DD there. L. Yeah, so really, say in the flesh, these look really quite nice kind of build. They look great. As you say, you're seeing this the first time I am. Look pretty good. So we've got product warranty card if you need it. A user manual. I don't think you really need these type of things, but I'll just quickly skim through it. As you say, if you want to just pause the video, just quickly skim over each kind of page, how it fits, product features, information about the drivers, warranty, blah blah blah, and then just the same thing back in Chinese. So that's that. Feels a bit like velvet with the branding. Seems cool. I don't know how many people use these, but that's what it looks like. Very soft. That's quite nice. So you get small, I think medium, large. Let's have a look. So you get large, medium, small, and extra small. So that's kind of cool. Quite wide. The ball, I'd say, is like a medium-sized kind of ball. And here's the cable. Straight connector. Kind of feels a bit like the, like KZ kind of cables. They've included cables. Looks pretty much the same. But in the next clip, I'll open the cable out and I'll have a look. So, straight 3.5 connector, and normally these are kind of right angled. As you see, it's quite long, good strain relief. Seems a very similar kind of construction to like the KZ and CCA cables. It seems the same kind of thing, kind of a big Y split there. Straight to the end. So R for right, good enough for there, and obviously this would be L for left there, and that's pretty much it. If you know the KZ CCA kind of cables, it seems pretty much the same. So yeah, I'm going to put a good few hours on the actual Wave, and then I'll do the review. Here we go. So welcome to my actual review part of the TKZK Wave, which is kind of a funky name really. On camera, this looks blue and that looks green, but in real life, the shell looks more greener. I don't know why the camera picks that up as blue. But anyway, so that's what they look like. Quite thick. The DD looks quite large, as you can see. Obviously, you saw the kind of connector. Like I said before, really, really nice build quality, as I've been using them for quite a bit. So let's go into isolation. These isolate really good. So there's no vents, like, at all. So I've been using these outside, and been actually quite windy. And these isolate. You can't hear the wind coming through, which is really good. I didn't expect that, but yeah. So isolation is good. Build quality for its projected, I think $35 price. Again, is really good. These are a hybrid, so it's 1DD, as you can see. There's a BA in the nozzle, which is not always kind of what I prefer. But yeah, you see, big DD. So yeah, comfort was good. Isolation was good. Build quality is good, so it's looking good so far. And sensitivity, these are kind of average to power. They're not the easiest, but obviously they're not the hardest. So, yeah. So, imaging is actually okay, and stage is okay. I didn't find it amazing, but the stage is actually good enough for what they actually they are. I'm not sure which armature they use, but it's a single one. You can't really see, but it's right in there. And they look funky, natural green, but like I say before, this looks blue on camera, but in real life it actually is more green. So have to bear that in mind. This is the emerald green one after all. Sound. So sound, these have a neutral to bright presentation. So like now I'm going to overlay my graph of them. I graph each side about, I think, 15 times. I graph left and right. I'm just overlaying the right one to see. As you can see from basically 200 hertz down, there is a very slight rise, but these aren't bassy. So I have to bear that in mind. Then into the mids, it's like completely like neutral. It seems the DD is not really utilised all that much, considering it's quite a large one. But again, that's the intended tuning. Is meant to be a neutral to bright presentation, which they are. So that means male vocals, depending on their range, it can sound a bit thin because there's no elevation to them at all. It's just flat, as you can see, which can be good or bad, depends on your preference. But because they do have a low amount of bass, it does sound extremely clean because there isn't really that much. So yeah, depends on your kind of your use case and your kind of music. Like if you like me, I do like a bit of EDM, side trance, and anything that has does like emphasize low end. These obviously aren't that kind of preference. But if you have to neutral-ish to bright, then it does fit for you. So female vocals do stand out, again depending on their range. As you can see, up to 2K. There's an elevation. Then there's another peak at 5K. You have to be careful of sibilants because that's kind of the sibilance range. And then there's a peak at 8, which is kind of the actual the measuring coupler accentuates the actual 8K. But they do have they say they are a brighter sound, so there's not real much roll off. It rolls on off further much. My personal tuning would be a little bit more sub bass and a little bit smoother in the treble. or a mod or anything like that. But if you're after a neutral to bright presentation, these are kind of rare at this kind of price. The normally things are normally more expensive, like the Hidi's MS2, the Mermaid 2, which is much more expensive than these are. I think from memory has a similar kind of tuning. Normally at this kind of price you normally get V shapes and stuff like that. But yeah, it is refreshing to have something that's tuned differently for once in this kind of price. They are very detailed earphones as well, because the BA is in the nozzle, so you have to bear that in mind. So for longer sessions these may not be for you, but for certain use cases, what I found is they're very detailed, which I liked. Instrument separation is okay, but obviously there's only one BA doing like a lot of that, so you have to bear in mind, like if you throw complex pieces of music, then they can, I wouldn't say struggle, but they're not as clear as you probably expect. But for most things, for this separation is okay because it's a BA, so you have to bear that in mind. Just depends on your use case and your music library. Again, if you're after a lot of bass, these don't have them. Obviously you can EQ a bit to do things, but on the whole they're actually not too bad at all. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Neutral to bright sound. If that suits you, here you go, at a good price. Again, I can't really fault them anywhere else. The cable is like the KZK cables, but then again, this is $35, or should be. They're not $100, so it is, the cable is okay that comes with it. It works fine. I have no issues at all. Again, the ear hooks work fine. And I think that's pretty much it. You can see from the graph what you kind of expect. Something similar to this, I think, is the heart mirror. But that's more the HZ Sound heart mirror, which is a single DD. But that's more expensive than these, so you have to bear that in mind. But yeah, I'm okay with what these are for what they are. They probably won't suit everybody's music library or use case, but for what I've used them for, they seem perfectly fine. Just be careful if you treble sensitive, then you may have to do a bit of EQing to calm that down. But yeah, that's what they look like. I think they look pretty good for the price. I'm quite happy with them. That crazy build quality for the money, as you can see there. Good isolation as well. They may be good if you do monitoring work, because they isolate amazingly well and they're not too hard to power. So yeah, for monitoring, not sure about mastering, but if you're on a monitor and you need the isolation, they may be very good for that. But yeah, if you're after something affordable, neutral to bright presentation, I think this is the cheapest I've seen. Normally they're more expensive than that, because normally this kind of price you do get a lot of kind of V-shaped kind of sound signatures. And yeah, I won't go on too long, but anything else you want to know in particular, as usual, just let me know in the comments. Then I can probably be more specific to your need. Obviously, because we all like this different music, we all have different use cases. A lot of people these days use IEMs for gaming. I personally don't, but I can sometimes. Obviously, this is tested on my Topping L30 amp in low gain, because I don't need medium gain. And just tried on my Timecodes V1A player just for a bit of testing outside. And oh, my mistake, there is a vent. I just literally noticed it right there. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. As usual, like I said, let me know in the comments any particular questions about these. Hopefully, as of this video, they will be available soon. I've no date yet, but I'll add any information in the description, and take care.